What is up, legends? We are back in HypeWatch, obviously. So you see, I didn't do any hype checks this week, basically because I was super busy. A lot is happening with my game. I'm going to talk about that at the end. I got a pretty crazy story about that, and it's pretty exciting. But let's get right into it. If you're new to HypeWatch, what I do every week on Friday, what you see it on Sunday, is I give you what I feel is the hype of the week. Some pretty cool stuff, and hopefully give you something to play on Sunday when you see this video, or something to look out for in the future. So first up, we only have two PC titles to really talk about. Actually three, but one is actually the hype of the week, so that's going to be at the end. But right off the bat, it's Final Fantasy. First of all, 6.5 is out already, which is the latest patch. And I'm already back into it, in between everything else that I got going on right now, trying to get my account up to speed, because Dawn Trail, as you guys can see right here, is coming soon. That's going to be in, I believe, January. And you have the teaser right here. You have the Fall Guys collab that is going to be coming on the 31st, because they just like doing everything. Then you have Crystalline Conflict, which is the PvP, which is actually kind of fun now. They actually made PvP kind of cool. I gotta admit, they make PvP kind of cool, and this guy didn't think they could do it, but they did it. So try it out, Final Fantasy, if 14, the beam. Have I ever told you about Final Fantasy 14, the critically acclaimed, like that meme? No, but honestly, it deserves it. It straight up deserves it. It's a really good game, and worth getting into if you haven't gotten into it. So next up is Wayfinder. Wayfinder is finally there, getting like a whole bunch of new content, as you guys can see right here. Main quest, the Hollow Heart, which is pretty much going to be Halloween stuff. And we're finally getting a new side quest on top of that, some new dungeons. We already had one new dungeon that they put in recently, but we're getting another one, including like new weapons, new axe, and everything else like this. I believe those are daggers. Yeah, those are daggers. So we'll see how all of this is going to work out, how this is going to be put out. It's supposed to be a lot of quality of life. Me personally, right now, the way the game is right now, I still kind of enjoy it and grinding out. It's very rough around the edges. I'm not even trying to, just make it something that it's not. But it does have potential, and hopefully they stick to it and don't give up, and keep making it better, and we'll have a good game by then. So here's hoping. So next up on the mobile side is Mortal Fantasy RPG. Now, this is it's a walker, basically, RPG manager, as I say a lot. However, it has a lot of bangs and whistles, which is why people are talking about it, which I have to actually give it a little bit of a hype. Normally, it would just end up on Hype Check or something like that, but I didn't do Hype Check this week, so we're going to talk about it here, and I would have already pointed you guys towards it. But these games, what they're designed to do, designed to be one and dones. You play them for like 2 or 3 days, get the max level, floss a little bit as a free-to-play person, and then be up out. That's what these games are about. But the ones that come with a little bit of quality, I like to point out that this is a little bit better than the rest, but it still is an RPG manager. Next up is a building fighter. This is weird and interesting because it has fighting game mechanics. It has city builder mechanics, which I'm confused on what exactly this is supposed to be as far as genre and everything else like this. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. If it comes global, then we might have a little something. But obviously, Nexon, yeah. But probably the most drip game here is I don't even know. I guess a Moco or Mo Company. It is a ARPG, action ARPG slash survival ARPG slash try to kill everybody else slash, like, it might be something because it's a little bit it's a little bit what's the name, and that game just got copied too. I can't remember the name, but It's a little bit Dreamlight Valley. I'll say that. Disney Dreamlight Valley. And you know, those cozy type of games that have a little bit of cozy in it with a whole lot of crazy. Like you just run around trying to, you know, like play with your friends as you can see right there and you know, get monsters and you can get multiple monsters. I can see this actually being cool if they expand upon it and if it's more so on the PC side because mobile, when you try to do ARPG on mobile, it just don't go well when you're trying to play with other people on that. Mobile is just still not there yet. It'll be another 10 years before mobile can properly get there to where we are all playing on cell phones and it won't even matter as far as PC. And it's not that the cell phones can't handle it. The cell phones can handle it. It's the network that can't handle it. The networks are really bad. And you wanna know what's crazy? Eastern countries, China and Japan, their networks can handle stuff like this. If you play these types of games over there and just with them by themselves, which is usually why they always try to block all the rest of us out of there, it's immaculate. It's crazy. Like, and I didn't really know that until I started hanging around with the Bilibili crowd, like on the forums, and I started watching like the Twitch version of, you know, the Chinese gaming platforms where they stream and everything else, and I started watching them play like their games, and I'm like, their stuff don't look like ours. Like, why? It looks like they're playing a PC game on mobile, and I'm like, why does ours look trash and theirs doesn't? And it's because their networks are better than ours. Like their fiber is better than ours, and it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. Our networks over here in the Western world are bad. Our internet networks are bad. And see, it's a weird thing. Their mobile and their data networks are better, but their net code is bad when it comes to dealing with net code around the world. Like if you play with somebody in Japan, like it's immaculate. Like you got the MS is crazy. It's just crazy. Like there's nothing like it in the world. The same thing in China. But if they try to connect out, that's where it all falls apart for them. That's why when we connect in, we're still able to play because that's the rollback kicking in, and we're better net code wise in the Western world, but our networks are bad. It's so crazy. I wish we can just put it all together and everybody get on the same page, and then we can just have some really good internet. But countries don't get along, and nobody wants to keep share their secrets. And the funny thing is it took the Western world to share rollback netcode to the Eastern world, and now a lot of companies are starting to get on board. Not Nintendo, but a lot of companies are starting to get on board with it. Bandai jumped on. For the most part, apparently not with Tekken though. Tekken 8 netcode is ass. I don't even. Harada, seriously, Harada. Anyway, Vigilante. Vigilante is a cool game. I just wanted to talk about that because I've been meaning to talk about that since like early in the week when I found out about the whole netcode thing and everything else like this. But Vigilante is a pretty cool game if you want to hop into and mess around with it. It's partially English, partially Chinese, but you can still deal with it. I was messing around with it, obviously not up on the channel, but it might be something that you want to pick up and check a look at. Three Kingdoms Fantasy, I believe that's the proper name for it. It's translated that, but I believe it's Three Kingdoms. This is another one of those wuxia. For whatever reason, Three Kingdoms is like the RF online. Like I don't know how the hell they just keep continuing to make games in this brand. Like it's just over and over again. I could have swore it was banned in China, but they somehow still keep making them. So it's what it is. But as you can see, it's pretty much idle. It's not an idle game, but as when I say idle in this term, you don't do anything. Basically, it's not like you controlling stuff. You're not playing Final Fantasy. You're playing Mystic Quest. So, not even Mystic. I'm trolling on Mystic Quest, but you guys know what I mean. Next up is Headless Knight Idle RPG. This is a idle game. Obviously, there's literally 1,000 clones of this because this is a $20 game to make. I explained this to you guys before. You can find the engine to make this game for free right now on the Unreal Store. The straight up engine to make it basically for free on the Unreal Store. It used to cost $100. Now it's free for whatever reason. Whoever made that engine chose violence because it just made it worse for the planet. Because now there's going to be 1,000 of these games coming out every week. But next up is The Walking Dead Match 3 Tales. It's a match 3 game. It's nothing that crazy. I'm probably gonna have a video for this coming up on the channel. Nothing too crazy. Very simple game. Another one of those games you get in, you play it for 2-3 days, get out. That's it. Next up is the reason why we're talking about this is Goddess of Victory Decay. Bruh, where's this post? I need y'all to see this. This is the first time. First of all, this character right here, Red Ash is amazing, and you'll definitely be able to get her because they are giving away 106 recruitment tickets basically. Now it's not all of the advanced recruitment, so you're gonna have to come up with something on that, but you see that eventually in the mail you're getting 10, so that's 10 right there. Login to claim gets another 10, that's 20. 15 cumulative login, so that's what's that, 35? 20, 20, and 15 is 35. And then advanced recruitment, join the story event to obtain, that's 50 right there. And then play the mini game to obtain, that is 60. So you get 60 right there. Then if you look down on the bottom, free daily gacha, 21 recruitment opportunities for Red Hood. So that is 80, 81 right there. And then you have the offside. So this is 81 right there. 81 of the pity, basically. You are really, really it could happen, but you are really, really unlucky if you can't get that character and all that. And it looks like we're going to be getting Snow White for free, because if you look right here, it says Snow White. And that's the young version of Snow White before she turned into the old killing fish Snow White. ×4, and it looks like you're just straight up going to get her at her complete max and stuff like that. So it's basically a free pilgrim. There's nothing wrong with a free pilgrim. Another thing with Red Ash is that it says that her burst could be 1 through 3 on her kit. I'm like, how does that happen? That you can just do that now in the game? That's actually pretty cool. That solves a lot of problems for builds. And then you have the 25, and then again you got the frame, and then the synchro expansion, play the mini game. I don't know what the synchro expansion is, but yeah. And then the first present mini game to obtain, all that type of stuff. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. Second to last is a Brown Dust 2. Brown Dust, look at, bruh, you saw that jiggle? Sir, who made this game? Sir, why you horny on the line? Like what's going? Well, hello, every single character, y'all just horny. Bruh, how did that glass not break? So this is the next character, Robin Hood Zenith. For a reason, like I said, they horny on the timeline. They added a new chapter. Again, this game is cool, but again, the problem with this, the reason why I fell off, even though it does have a clean as butter, smooth as butter rather, PC version is that this game really doesn't have any true end game. It's just you're just doing the story and then going to go sit down somewhere with all your max level characters, outside of doing hard mode and very hard mode, and that's not end game. That's just hard mode and very hard mode. That don't count. Somebody was like, they got end game. You got to get through hard mode, very hard mode. I'm like, not end game. That's not. It's not what that means. It's just no. So when they officially do that, I will be back. But I guess they're just not going to, because it's just not. So it's what it is. And then certainly not least, Grand Blue Fantasy. Now this beta is going to be for everybody. I'm strongly suggesting everybody get into this and play this, because this is an amazing game. You're going to be able to play this on PlayStation if you have a PlayStation 5.4 in Steam, and it's going to be open for everybody. This is the major hype. You're going to be able to play with other people. You're going to be able to just do nice combat and raids and everything else like that. It is lit. It's very fun. It's amazing. I strongly suggest getting in and playing it and doing it to it. That is all I have for you guys on that. Now, as far as my game, here's what happened. So I'm in a kind of like a program, like where they were kind of like teaching us, like, you know, I signed up for everything. Like, basically what ended up happening is I put myself back in school for programming to kind of like learn programming and everything else like that. Already graduated, all that's done. I've been doing that on the side while I've been doing this. And then it said, okay, well, you can go internship. And like, you know, obviously that was during the pandemic, so I didn't have to actually physically go anywhere, but I did intern at a company. And what ended up happening is that, you know, while I was learning everything and interning and like beta testing and stuff like that, I made connects, and they found out that I basically am trying to make a game that I'm paying for literally myself through things, and then getting funding in other places. And we're gonna crowdsource eventually next week, not next week, next year, rather. Next week would have been crazy. Next year. And so yeah, so what ended up happening is that they was like, well, why don't you, and it's almost fitting that something's on the screen right now. They're like, why don't you send your game in for indie licensing? And I was like, what? No. That's embarrassing. No, like we got like one level and one intro area. Like, no, like they could just laugh at me. And he was like, no, just do it. They're like, oh, that's how it starts. Like they want you to send in for indie licensing. And by the way, the where I'm sending it for indie licensing is Steam, basically. So I did that, and somebody got back to me and said, so like, what is this, a demo? You want to put the demo up? Do you have all your proper licensing? You got your LLC going on? Like a whole bunch of questions. I go, whoa. Like, this is just, they told me to put this in, and I had no intention of putting this up anywhere. And they're like, oh, but you kind of can if you want to. And then you have like an open page. And I was like, well, we ain't ready for all that. Like, that's embarrassing. I don't want to do that yet, because it's just nothing to even really look at. I don't even want anybody downloading this right now. Like, what are they gonna do? Run around this little area right here? Like, that's stupid. But they said it's fine. So what ended up happening from there is they sent it somewhere else, and then that platform said, I can't say that platform because you have to actually be licensed to say it. But that platform said, if you want to put it, you can. They literally said that I could do it too. So now I can be on that platform in Steam if I really wanted to. And it's all set up, which I didn't know that it worked like that. To be honest with you, obviously, because I'm new to this stuff. Like I'm not like some veteran out here. I'm learning as I go. I just literally, like, in the past 2 years, learn how to properly code. I knew how to code and program, but I just properly learned how to do it in the past 2 years. So I'm very new to this, very new to the business side of doing all this. So it's very cool. And like I said, I am making a MMO. And everybody asks, well, think along the lines of Guild Wars 2. Just think along those lines. Not really Final Fantasy, even though I'm heavily inspired by Final Fantasy. That's really hard with a small team to actually pull off. Like, I don't think everybody realizes the type of magic that they are doing with Final Fantasy 14 and how much. Like, I don't think them people sleep. They probably don't, which is kind of like, I hope they don't. I hope they're not. Square is not sweatshopping them. Please don't do that. Because just the parts in Final Fantasy, what it takes to actually do that, man, I have so much respect. There's so much respect for Square on that particular game. When I like just the sum of total and parts of what it takes to actually make that game. So outside of that, that's all I have. And that's again this week, because of all of that stuff that was happening and stuff ramping up with my game, like literally out of nowhere, like just things that started flowing, and this started working. Okay, so we need you to do this. This started work. Okay, so we need you to do this. Okay, no, we need a storyboard for this. I can't make a stage if I don't have a storyboard. What is this lore? What is this supposed to be? What characters are going to be in this particular stage? What coding is that going to have? You need to know what's the pathing going to be. Are we going to have music right here? Is it free music? Okay, so now the characters are there. What interactions are they going to have? What pathing going to have? Are they going to walk around? Are they going to be stationary? What's the lighting going to be like? Is it going to have a certain type of day? Like literally everything I just said, that's one part of a game right now, and that's what happens. Like it just happens like that over and over again. That sounds like a lot because it is a lot, and then you have to throw the coding behind that, and then I have to figure out and make sure that if it does have coding, people don't walk into each other and they actually act like humans, because you can put all that in there and then the characters don't even act like humans. They just be standing there looking at each other, looking crazy, like it's like what's it? Not No Man's Sky. Which is funny. We're about to wrap this because I'm just going down the foxhole with this. The whatever that game is, the space game, but I had the same type of issue with the characters was looking at everybody like they're crazy. I'm like, what the hell why is everybody looking like they're high on 50,000 pounds of weed? I was so upset on Tuesday because I could not figure out why all the characters just looked like everybody looked like they were high. And what it was is that the behavior engine, it was too bright. So what it was doing was making the NPCs open their eyes for whatever reason to kind of like to deal with it. And it's weird because you would think, oh, it's too bright, maybe they'll close it, but nah, it had the opposite effect. It was too bright, and it was an invisible light in the sky. I kid you not, that was causing that. That's why I was going freaking crazy. It was what I ended up having to do is I cut everything to wireframes, and I was like, what is happening? And then I look in the skybox, and there's one little stupid, I probably fat fingered something, or maybe somebody else who was also working on the game with me, maybe they fat fingered and put this light source in the sky, and that was making all the characters be crazy, because the minute I deleted that, everybody looked like they were normal. I was like, holy crap, I spent 8 hours trying to fix this. That's be legendary, guys. Don't be a game dev. Just don't.